Welcome once again, our viewers out there. We want to say a big thank you for being part of this channel. Thank you for following us. Thank you for watching our videos. Thank you for sharing them. Thank you for your likes and thank you for your comments. We're quickly going to pick up from where we stopped in our last video in this series. Okay, in the last class we actually looked at how you can create a simple web page, first by creating a folder, an empty folder on the desktop, and then clicking and dragging the folder into Visual Studio Code app, which opens up the file with Visual Studio Code. And then we wrote one or two lines of code and we're able to see how it looks like in a web browser. So we'll continue from there. So I'm just going to start by clicking and dragging my first web page into Visual Studio Code to open it. Okay, and then this is what we had the last time. Okay, we created a simple index file which contains the doc declaration, okay, telling us the version of HTML we are using. Now I'm just gonna go straight and delete the whole of these and then save. Okay, now I want to show you how to use the Emmet abbreviation to do to make your work easier, because the beauty of computing is simplifying the job. Okay, so how do I go about that? Okay, simply pressing the shift and exclamation mark, that shift and 1, okay, gives me the exclamation. I can see my Emmet abbreviation. Now once I click that, automatically it inserts some default tags such as the document declaration. You can see the HTML, the head, the title, the body. Okay, now I'm sure you'll be wondering, the last time we coded we had nothing like meta, charset, the meta name. Okay, we're going to explain this in the course of learning. However, just note that this is a simple way to include all of this, okay, using the Emmet abbreviation. And like I said, that everything you see in a web page falls between the what? The opening body tag and the closing body tag. Now let's look at a simple website, okay? Blessed Children Academy. Okay, now this website belongs to a school called Blessed Children Academy. Okay, it's actually situated in Port Harcourt, Nigeria. Okay, you can take a look at the site www.blessedchildrenacademy.com and browse through it. Now if we look at the site, now this is the title. Okay, we get that using the title tag, if you remember, from the head tag. Under the head tag, the title defines the title of the page. Now just looking at this, right from where I have the stop address downwards, okay, it's usually contained in the body element. Okay, it's usually contained in the body element. Now the first part of the site is just a quick address, okay, just like a quick contact, below which you have the navigation bar or the navigation menu with which you can take a tour through the site. Now we have the home, the about, the schools, the admission, the contacts, the gallery, the portal. Okay, now beside that you can see the logo, okay, the logo of the school. And then if I scroll down, you can see we have a carousel image which we are going to learn. You see some images are just moving in. That's a carousel image. We are going to learn that in the course of this tutorial. And then if I move further below, I can see other content on the web page. Okay, these are the main contents, okay, divided into sections. And then I can see images and the rest, and the testimonial section. And finally, when I get to move down, we see the footer section. Okay, and then just below the footer section we can see where we have the credit, okay, the copyright information. Now this is just what a simple website should look like. And so in this class we're going to begin by learning how to do the navigation menu. We're going to learn how to create the navigation menu. Like I said, we will be taking the design of a website component by component. So let's get back to our coding environment. Okay, now just below the body, the first thing I want to do in order to get my navigation menu, we use what we call the nav tag. We use what we call the nav tag. But at this junction, I want to take a little moment to simply talk about HTML5 semantic element. Now, what does that mean? It is important to note when you are writing or coding or designing a web page, there are so many viewers out there, some with certain disabilities, visual impairment, audio impairment, okay? And so some viewers will actually depend on assistive technology to view the content of your web page, to view the content of your website. So when designing a website, you should have them in mind. And HTML5 made this so simple by introducing semantics, okay? Now, semantics gives your web not just a structure, but meaning. So the search engine can look at the structure of the website and tell the meaning based on the semantic elements that is used. Now, even other programmers can look at your code and actually, oh, okay, this particular section, this is what it depicts. And assistive technology can easily navigate through your site, okay, using semantic element. So before now, we would usually use things like a div, okay, which is a container to group elements. But then div as container does not really give meaning, okay? It's just a container. It doesn't really tell, okay, what's going to be the function of this container? What are going to be the elements contained in it, okay? And so let's quickly get back. So to create my navigation menu, first of all, I just want to state a simple heading, my H1 tag, and said creating a navigation menu, creating a navigation menu. Then I save this, okay? Remember, how can we view this web page? There are two ways we can do that. I can simply minimize all of these, go to the folder where I have the file, okay, open it up, then open up this particular file by double clicking on it. That's one way. But then for every change you make using this method, you need to refresh the browser. You need to refresh the browser to see what you can see, creating a navigation menu. Now, I want to point out something here. When creating your website, you should also be careful to avoid typographical error, as I'm doing here now. You're seeing this. Now, once you push up the content of your site live, you can't edit them except going through the raw files, okay? All right, so always take out time to look at what you're typing. So let's go back there, creating, okay, not things. I change it to G, creating, then I save, okay? Now, if I go back to my browser, you would discover that I still have creating, okay? So to enforce the change, what do? I just simply refresh the browser. Now, imagine having to do this all the time. You make changes, it doesn't really look good. However, with Visual Studio Code, there's something called Live Server, okay? There's something called Live Server, which it's actually an extension, okay? Extension kind of add extra functionality to your coding environment, making your work so easier. Now, this extension actually gives a live update of whatever you're doing. So the moment you hit the save button, it automatically refreshes the browser. So you don't need to go to the browser to do that. So I'm just going to close. Let's go back to the browser. I'm going to close this. Okay. And then minimize this. Let's go. How do I use my live server? Okay. Now, if you look at this icon here, it says extensions. If I click on it, okay, remember you have to have an internet connection to do that. Now, if I click on the extensions, it brings out a search bar where I can simply type live server. Now, once I do that, you're going to see live server, okay, by Retweak there, live server. You can see that. Now I click on live server and install. I already have it installed in my system, so I wouldn't do that again. But for you, just simply click on it, and then once you do that, I've clicked on it. Now let's see what's going to come up on the screen. You can see I have my live server by Retweak Day. Okay, launch a development local server with live reload feature for static and dynamic pages. Now what I have here is uninstall and disable. That's because I already have it installed in my system. Now if you are yet to install yours, what you are going to see there is install and then enable. So I'm going to close this. So now I have live server in my system. What do? I'll go back to my file explorer. Okay, now there are two ways I can do that. Right click on the index.html file. You can see open with live server. You can see open with live server. So once I do that, okay, I'm going to open it with live server. Automatically, for every change I make, it automatically reflects on the web browser without me having to refresh. Okay, without me having to refresh. You can see that. Now for you to get what we're saying, I'm going to minimize this and as well minimize my coding environment. I'll try to place them side by side so we see. I'll try to place them side by side. Now watch this. I'm going to change the content of this. Now let's say hello guys, hello viewers, I'm learning to code. And once I save this, now you notice automatically my browser is refreshed again. Take note of typographical error. So let's quickly go back here. Hello viewers. Okay, I don't need to go to my browser and refresh it. So that's one of the beauty of using live server. So I'm going to be putting this side by side and let's continue. Now that we've seen once again how to load our pages, so let's go back. Okay, remember I said we're looking at creating a navigation bar. Okay, so quickly I'll just type creating a navigation bar. Okay, now let's go. I'll save that. It refreshes. Now to create my navigation bar, we use what we call the nav tag. You can see the nav tag, and I'll be using a meta abbreviation. Once I type nav, I'll press the tab. It automatically open and close that. Now your navigation menu is made up of an unordered list of elements or items. Now if you're familiar with Microsoft Word, where we have bullets and numbering, okay, bullet itemize a list of options. That's just basically it. So to do that, we'll start with the nav tag. Now the nav tag is like a container, okay, but a semantic element that shows that, oh, this section contains what? Navigation menu. So the next thing I want to do is what? Use my unordered list, UL stands for unordered list. Okay, so look at the structure. My nav followed by an ordered list, and then within the unordered list I'm going to have what? My list, okay, which are the item. So first I say maybe I want this to be home. Okay, I want this to be home, and then I can just copy and paste several, okay, and then make changes. Okay, let's say this is going to be home, this is going to be about, this is going to be contacts, and then this is going to be probably gallery, and then I save. Now let's see what appears. Okay, now this is what you're going to get. You can see what you're going to get is like a bulleted item. Okay, home, about, contacts, gallery. So the question is, how do I convert this to this finished work we're having here? Okay, how do I make this look like this? Okay, let me expand this. How do I get this to be in this format? That is where CSS comes into play. Okay, and at this junction I would want to introduce us into CSS, which stands for Cascading Style Sheet. Okay, with CSS I can actually go